Welcome to my daily practice at Wendy Coad Art. If you find this video interesting or helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video.
Hi, my name is Wendy and I'm an artist. I've been an artist my whole life and I am excited to invite you into my studio and show you my art practice. I paint every day and I do acrylic on paper. I also do stencils. I draw. I organize my studio space. I do a lot of things. For me, art is about problem solving, so there's always little tricks and tools that I can share with you along the way. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I am going to be working on my tabletop paintings, and I'm going to be dithering about my wall paintings, these ones in particular. I had always had the intention of these two panels going onto the table to be, made into smaller paintings. I mean, I decided to try that. Usually I take the paintings that are just, don't feel resolved, or I just can't give them any more energy, and then recycle them. But these I actually intentionally knew that I would be putting them on the table. And there have been moments where I've been going back and forth like, oh, but they're so nice, they look so good. Do I really want to? And the answer is yes, so far. And you have to take all of my comments with a grain of salt, because a lot of my comments are based on when I put the paint down and it's wet. And I'll tell you, once the paint dries, it's almost like it's a whole different painting. And then I fall in love again. What a great problem to have. Spend my days falling in love. So there's that. And the back wall, I'm done with these. I kind of like, I very much like each side. If you've followed or seen any of the earlier paintings, these are atlas pages. And then so far I've been putting them back into book form. And so I've already painted on the other side. These will be replaced by new, fresh map pages. I'm running out of my atlas. It's finite, the atlas of the world. Once you've covered it, you've covered it. And this work, I'm just waiting for something, just the punctuation, the period at the end of the sentence. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. Lots going on, great story, but needs a little period at the end of it. So, and I don't know what that is, or where that will come from, or how it will look. So hopefully I won't have to work too much longer or harder. But if I do, I do. So and this wall, I like it, but again, I haven't set out to make the paintings just with a lot of negative space. I don't know why. It's nothing wrong with that. If you can balance it, maybe it's just that I don't want to do that. I don't want to balance it in that way. Or, I think it's more, I don't want the painting to end. I actually think that that is, I mean, if there's a problem, again, what kind of glorious problems are these? Um, it just means I get to spend more time with the paintings. And yeah, maybe I'll mess them up a little bit, but then I get to, go back in and pull them back from the abyss, so to speak. Oh, it's so dramatic. But I don't know how else to describe the 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 pure joy um, that overlays even the frustration and the disappointment and the anger. It's always there. There's always that potential, that possibility. So, yeah, my happy place. Okay, and I'm going to turn these over too because I can only focus and basically remember what I've got when it's facing me. Huh. Now, this is interesting. A lot of times the paintings on one side are quite different from the paintings on the other side. Colors. I mean, I do use probably 20 colors fairly consistently, but you could have only 3 colors and make every color of the rainbow. That's just not a problem for me. Um, but I'm surprised to see how homogeneous these are looking, so to speak. But I do know that I made a very bold color choice and put it everywhere. So I'm not surprised. Huh. It's kind of like their younger sibling. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll stop before I turn the paintings around. And if I do that, then I'll lose the continuity of the colors. I mean, I don't need a dozen paintings of the same palette. But maybe I do. I'm not, I'm certainly not adverse. These do have a different line, though, because of this brush stroke here. So, okay. And I mean, I talk about the white space, the back, the negative space. I have nothing against it. I guess it's just so uniformly white. And I could start by putting different kinds of white down, but by coating the surface before putting anything else on it. It's not a bad idea, actually, but I just don't want to do it. So I'm going to keep going this way, but I do want some of this white. So I'm going to layer more white on top. So it's not the paper white, it's paint white, which is different. You never get, I've never gotten with paint. I mean, yes, you do, but white paint tends to remain fairly transparent. I mean, especially with a squeegee and it's a very thin coat. If it was a thick coat, yes, I could do white, but it's a very thin coat. And so, and I this is mongrel white. I've got, I use up all the whites that I have, dove white and this white and another white, and then I put it all together. This is my mix white, and I like that. It's usually kind of a either a warm or a cool, usually a cool white, very, very subtle, close to gray. This might be a little early, but I'm just going in with some of this corners again. Big on corners recently. There's just this little family of drips here. They almost look like, I don't know, faces, or drips, but I like them. They're vaguely comedic. They look like a family of characters. Oh, so I had a little something in my paint. A little bit of the dried paint. All right, now I'm getting a little bored with it's a dove gray, but like I said, it hasn't dried yet, so I don't know. And I've used peach, and I'm wasting my pastel yellow because that doesn't do anything. What would I like? Kind of a, I guess I could go back to a cool. This is my Arctic. I'll try that. Just a pale, pale, pale blue. Now I do have some of this already in one of the lines here, so could be quite nice to have, a paler version, a more pastel-y version of it coming up. Ooh, this is nice. It's giving Dr. Zhivago vibes. Winter chill. That's not bad. This is definitely a way to combat that feeling of too much white, that comes from the paper. Keep going. These could work. And sometimes it's just a nice shape, a rectangular shape of this off-white, cool gray. I can't even say it looks blue. It's a blue-gray, light blue-gray. Now, I have to resist the urge to flip them over and do the exact same thing on the other side, because, and I just say earlier that I did not want to do that. I mean, it's not gonna, I don't care really, but I want to see if I can get a different feel on the other side by simply not doing the same thing on the other side. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But, got to try things out anyways. At least I do. Okay, now let's Let's move over here. These are not looking like the other ones yet. I still have time to homogenize. Yeah, I think this cool is going to work over here too. Not that I dislike the warm. I quite like it. Oh, I just like these big, they're kind of lumpy shapes because the white and the blue, as they mix, are mottled, not, not smoothly one color. And I like that. Ooh, look at this. I was watching, just like you, I watch videos of artists randomly. I'm not thinking of anyone in particular. I don't catch names. Even if I do, I don't remember them terribly well. But it was interesting. Somebody who was painting in a way that would reprint, that could be reproduced on a as a print. And you have to think about what you're doing because there's certain things that are not going to come out. So a lot of the real subtle, I mean, they'll come out, but but it changes, how it looks. And so there was a moment of appeal. I was like, ooh, that's an interesting thing to do. I bet I could do that. And then there was a reality check. Well, but then I would be changing my entire process to meet a mechanical process, to interface with a mechanical process. That's not a bad thing if you want to do that. But that takes, and I have done that, printmaking, for example. But that takes a lot of the spontaneity that I really rely on, but also I enjoy more than anything else. So, still an idea, but and it's a good idea, but but not for me. I think I need my process to be unencumbered by considerations of mechanical processes that are a boon to mankind. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. It's just how you feel. I like the old manual method. Even if it dates me. And I'm sure it does. I mean, I'm sure there are comments like, why would you bother? Why would you bother doing all this when you could do it this way? Whee! But it's because I like to do it this way. It's because doing it this way feeds my soul in a better, more fully. I just want to be clear that I have no problem with all the wonderful tools and all the exquisite practices that people have come up with for their art. I also know that these mediums, of course, I'm not eschewing contemporary mediums. Here I am on YouTube, being as contemporary as I can be. And I've gotten comments that people would like more of the entertainment aspect of the process. I don't think of it as entertaining someone else. I think of it as a personal meditation, quite frankly, and that can be shared for those who enjoy that. And any pushes or pulls, not to change it. I mean, I do appreciate suggestions or comments. I don't really mind. I don't have to take them to heart if they're not right for me. And I do think about all of this, and I do change things. I've changed my style, I don't know how many times during my career. I probably have a signature, though, that's mine. By that I mean, a way like this squeegee. Not that I'm the only one using a squeegee, but there are some things that may define or be considered a style. That are particular to me. Now I'm just thinking of the reversed side of this piece here. Yeah, I'm not going to work any more on these. I got to wait for the paint to dry. It's a little more frustrating when it's a pastel because it's so subtle. It doesn't seem like anything dramatic has happened. And in fact, nothing dramatic has happened. But I guess sometimes I want a little entertainment value myself. However, not at the expense of the rest of the process. Now I'm thinking I could just do one more. They're just getting so busy, it's starting to look like I'm cleaning my brushes on this, so no. But I have paint left, and that makes me want to put it somewhere. Yeah, it won't take much. But that's not the point. It's not worth it. Let me get a couple stencils out. I can always do a stencil. And it's even better because I can apply a lot more pressure. Ooh. There's more paint left on there than I had thought. This would work better if there was just some darker colors. Let me go over here. But it's just a first pass, first stencil pass. They always take 2 or 3, go from dark to light. One of these figures is missing a leg there. It's kind of nice. It's a little bit embossed. So when I come back at another time, there'll be a little bit of a raised area there. And I can always just put something a little bit darker. Where's my Alizarian Crimson? No, I already have that on there. What do I want? Maybe I'll just do some orange, or orangey red. Hopefully it'll come out pink. But if it doesn't matter. I'm still good with it. Oh, it's come out in stripes. Oh, that's nice. Okay, well, I don't have the camera set up, but I'll show you. Woo! Oh no, I have to show you. Wow. Let me just grab this little camera and bring it around to, look at that. Goddess with the red dress on. And here she is with the white, your basic white. And these two, you can see there's not much contrast there. So I should just bring the whole thing over here now. This is the gooseneck stand. So the problem is, ooh, gosh. Well, that's not bad. The problem is it's a little wobbly, but I've just learned how to take that out in my iMovie editing. You have no idea how much goes on that you don't see so that I can do this. But it makes me happy. And hopefully it makes you happy too. Yes, 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 yes. Well, that was a happy accident. Let me just go over to this gal. She's one of my favorite goddesses. She's kind of like an angel, but it kind of looks like she's got, it's like on Chaucer's Road. I don't know why I say that, but that's just the feeling that I get from her. Ooh, and that was nice too. The overlay gave her kind of a peachy. Now, where else can I go with these? Let's get the goddess of the city. I don't know why that I find it so appealing that there's a goddess with a city wall on her head. Maybe appealing's not the right word. It's just so, yeah. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do with that stencil. I want to revisit this one. Oh, here it is. Gosh. It's really nice to, not much is happening there, but I think it's great. Often doesn't work to go over them wet, meaning they're still wet and I'm going over them, so they get kind of double wet. they get all mushed. But this worked out pretty well. Very happy. Wasn't expecting to actually do much on these today. So, what a great day in the studio for me. I hope you enjoyed visiting me, and I want to thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure. So, go look at art, or now go make art, and have a great day. So I'm so happy that you are joining me today, and maybe other days too. I'll take you through my day to day as an artist, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tape. Thanks for being here.